Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about car markups and how automakers are starting to fight back against dealerships to get rid of the crazy markups. And so with that being said, let's just get right into it. So let's get into what automakers are doing to fight against crazy dealer markups. So if you guys don't know, over the last year roughly, dealerships have just slowly increased the prices of new cars to pretty crazy amounts. I just recently made a video of the car brands that have the highest markup and then the car brands that have the lowest markup. Just a quick recap on that video. Cadillac right now has the highest average markup on their vehicles, being over $4,000 per car, over MSRP. And then Alfa Romeo was the least amount of markup, and it was like $33,000 under MSRP on average for a transaction with Alfa Romeo. But the majority of automakers on the list were in the positive, which is a bad thing. That means that most brands in the US are selling for over MSRP on average with their transaction prices, which is a big deal. And so there's some stuff that's happening with automakers. The first one we're going to get into is Hyundai Motors. So they obviously run Hyundai, Kia, and Genesis here in the US. And the Hyundai and Genesis branches just sent out an email to dealerships warning them to stop crazy pricing. Basically, the email talked about how dealerships need to stop being so short-sighted, and they need to look at their long-term relationship with customers. And if they continue to charge customers the amount of money they're charging them, then not only is it going to hurt their dealership in the long term, but it's going to hurt the Hyundai or Genesis brand in the long term as well. And so basically what they were saying in these emails is, first off, dealerships need to stop advertising certain prices online and then raising those prices when customers show up to the dealership. That's just shady practice, and they need to just stop that. Whatever price they're selling the car for, they need to have that advertised online, and it can't change when the customer goes into the dealership. And also just selling vehicles for significantly over sticker, especially for popular vehicles like the new Hyundai Palisade, for example. And so basically, what they're saying is, okay, you guys obviously do have control over your pricing, because if you guys don't know, dealerships, since they are autonomous units, can price vehicles at whatever they want technically. But the manufacturer is saying, okay, if we get enough complaints about your dealership with pricing and in terms of just switching things around and just being difficult to deal with, then we are going to cut your advertising budget. If you guys don't know, a lot of automakers actually send money to dealerships for advertising every single month. And it can be a significant amount of money. Some automakers will send as much as like $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a month to these dealerships so that they have extra money to advertise. So it's not a small amount of money by any means. The other thing they've been threatening is cutting allocations as well. Basically just saying, hey, you know what? If you're a dealership that continues to basically foster these negative relationships with customers to where they're not going to purchase from the brand whatsoever in the future, then we'll just give you less allocations in the future, so you won't be able to sell as many cars. And when the market normalizes, that's really going to hurt, because you're going to have to sell cars for less money. And if you have less cars to sell for less money, you're just going to hurt all over. And so yeah, that's on the Hyundai Motors side of things. There's nothing that was sent to Kia dealers, which I thought was interesting, because Kia had significant markups over MSRP on average with their dealerships as well, especially with like the Telluride, for example. Those are going for like 30 grand over sticker. But I'm sure they're probably going to get something soon from Hyundai Motors saying, hey, it'll be like the same thing. You guys need to calm down on that. And so you guys might see some price adjustments with those three brands in the near future, because dealerships don't want to run their relationship with the manufacturer and lose advertising money and also lose allocation. Now, the next one that you guys probably are more interested in potentially is Ford. So this one is a little bit more on the rumor side of things. I do need to say that. But there's been some big news with Ford. And the news is that Ford might potentially sell cars direct to customers. Now, this is something we've heard for years, right? Manufacturers selling direct to customers. It's what Tesla does, because they don't actually have dealerships. And it works great for Tesla. Now, again, there's been some rumors that Ford's switching to this because of crazy dealer markups. And Ford, again, was over MSRP on average for all of their vehicles. But especially on new vehicles like the Ford Bronco, the new F-150 Lightning. It's still not even out to dealerships yet, but there's already news of dealerships selling those for significantly over sticker. The new Bronco Raptor, the new F-150 Raptor as well, or just, you know, any F-150 package in general, right? And so there's been these rumors that Ford is basically going to allow customers to buy direct from the factory. Now, I don't think that it would go that far where it'd be just like a direct factory order where you basically order the vehicle and then you go and pick it up from the factory. Here's what I think could potentially happen. So we've already seen Ford do the reservation style of ordering with the F-150 Lightning and with the Bronco, where you basically go to Ford's website, you put in a reservation, you choose your dealership, and with the reservation, you're putting in your order in terms of what options you want on the vehicle, what color you want it to be in, all that kind of stuff. And with the Bronco in particular, it basically made it so that dealerships were selling Broncos to the first customer at MSRP. There are some dealerships that did some shady stuff, but for the most part, dealerships were selling to the first customer at MSRP. And then obviously we saw a bunch of flipping with the Bronco where people would go and then sell it for significantly over sticker. Or if people backed out of their Bronco order for some reason, that Ford dealership would then sell that order at significantly over sticker because it wasn't technically to the original customer. But that did kind of help out with, you know, the original customer's pricing on the Bronco. And same thing with the F-150 Lightning. But again, we've heard some stuff that some dealerships are going to be doing some crazy stuff. Now, Ford could kind of expand this to a whole nother step to where basically, so right now it's reservation, but you're still technically ordering through a dealership. What Ford could then do is extend it to reservation and you're ordering direct from Ford. So you're just paying MSRP. You're not paying any markup over MSRP. And you probably still have to pick it up at a dealership. It'd be like a courtesy delivery. I think that is that definitely has potential where basically you order a vehicle from Ford direct and then you choose the dealership that you're going to pick that vehicle up at, and that dealership is just going to be a courtesy delivery service for you. This is something similar to like what fleet vehicles have with ordering, where the company basically orders direct through Ford and then the vehicles get sent to a particular Ford dealership, and then that Ford dealership does a courtesy delivery to the fleet company, the company that ordered the fleet of vehicles. And so there, you could see something similar to this with these just single orders, right, where the dealership basically does a courtesy delivery. And I'm sure that Ford will structure it in a way to where the dealership still gets paid a certain amount of money, like a flat or something for these courtesy deliveries. And so that is where I see it having potential. I don't see it being direct, you know, completely direct to where the dealerships are completely taken out of the equation. But I do see potential to where the dealerships have less of an involvement in the whole deal. And so kind of what this would look like from A to Z is you go on Ford's website, you'd put in your order for the vehicle, and then they'd give you a timeline in terms of roughly when that vehicle is going to arrive, and you'd choose the dealership that's closest to you for that vehicle to be delivered to. And then once the vehicle gets delivered to that dealership, you choose your payment method with Ford, whether you're financing through Ford or you're just going to pay them cash for the vehicle. And that might be something that Ford will do, is they'll make it so you have to finance through Ford with these factory direct orders with Ford Financial Service. And so that might be something that'll push people to still use dealers if they want to finance through a different lender. But anyways, you do the financing, you pay for the car, and then you just go to the dealership, and then they basically just hand you the keys, and Ford will pay the dealership to do the pre-delivery inspection and to have the car gassed up and ready for you. But you wouldn't have like a salesperson. You probably wouldn't go through their finance office or anything like that. So it would take a significant chunk of the dealership away. It'd basically be, you know, the mechanics in the back getting the truck ready and their lot techs getting the truck ready, and then someone just handing you the keys and then you being off on your way. I do see potential with that. But that's going to sum things up for today's video. I want you guys to let me know what you think about this topic with automakers fighting back against these markups, and if you want automakers to do things like what there are rumors around with Ford and kind of what I talked about. And with that being said, I'll see all of you in that next video.